we go. Okay, welcome everyone. We are back with our Monday night Legend of the Mist game. It is Monday, June 2nd, and we are returning as our heroes have left Highglade and began a journey kind of across some terrain here to follow Toma and his um leading them to maybe where a meteor has landed on Earth, where there might be some star metal, as Ashrin puts it. So I'm going to read to you just the last summary of what had happened since it's been a few weeks. So we're all up to speed, and then we'll get rolling on our current session. So the party readies themselves for their upcoming adventure. Jared Maximus, the ever practical nobleman of Thornbrush, emphasizes the importance of stocking their backpack with essential items, torches, for instance, because who wants to trip over a rock in the dark? With their destination set, Ashrin, always the curious one, asked about their route. Jared, with a glimmer of confidence, recalls that Toma is their trusted guide, and they estimate their journey will take 2 or 3 days, including at least one night of travel, perfect for bonding, or so they hope. Chewbacca, the group's reassuring provider, declares he has enough food to last them through the trek. Meanwhile, Maya, the ever resourceful one, plans to gather some extra survival supplies and promises to tag any new items she buys. That's funny. With preparations wrapped up and backpacks secured, the party sets off from Highglade, led by the steadfast Toma, and begins their trek southward. But not long into their journey, they notice some rather peculiar changes along the trail, strange symbols etched into tree barks and moss that seems to have grown unevenly, hinting at some magical mischief afoot. In a moment of brilliance, Ashrin pulls out her journal and compass to navigate through the oddities, successfully clearing the path of its subtle enchantment and revealing the right direction. But as is often the case with adventurers, tension simmers when Ashrin suggests they investigate the magical phenomenon, while Toma, ever the pragmatist, insists they keep moving. Their debate leads them to a small clearing with a pond encircled by a ring of mushrooms. A fairy ring, as Maya ominously warns, potentially a gateway to other realms or a trap set by mischievous forces. Intrigued yet cautious, the group deliberates on whether to delve deeper into the clearing. Maya, in a fit of curiosity, steps into the fairy ring, only to be greeted by a tiny fairy creature that leaps onto her leg, causing her to feel an unusual sluggishness. Jared, ever the protector, instructs Toma to fall back while Chewbacca prepares to intervene. In a flurry of action, Jared tries to lasso Maya while Chewbacca aims to pin the pesky fairy with his staff. Meanwhile, Maya realizes the creature is just a playful fairy linked to ancient magic because, of course, nothing ever goes smoothly in these woods. More fairy creatures pop up, latching onto Maya and Chewbacca, and the situation escalates faster than a goblin in a treasure hoard. Jared manages to yank Maya out of the fairy ring, but the little fairy clings stubbornly to her. Chewbacca finds himself grappling with a gnome that has taken a ride on his back, because why not add a gnome to the mix? In a moment of fiery inspiration, Ashrin casts Mage Fire near Chewbacca, scaring off the gnome, but also singeing him in the process. Talk about friendly fire. As chaos reigns, Jared swings his sword at the gnome clinging to him, inflicting damage but also earning himself a nasty gash. Just when things couldn't get more chaotic, a large elk like creature, a forest spirit, emerges from the woods on the other side of the clearing, sending shivers down the spine of the party members. Toma, trying to ease the tension, reassures Jared that the spirit isn't involved with the gnomes, because that's a relief. Maya, sensing a connection, attempts to reach out to the elk spirit through her blood bond ritual, slipping into a trance like state. Meanwhile, Chewbacca, feeling a bit bold, pleads for divine intervention to drive away the pesky creatures. Despite Jared's efforts to pull Maya away from the spirit, she initially resists, caught in the allure of the magic. Eventually, she succeeds, breaking her free from the trance just as the elk spirit looms ominously over them. Chewbacca acknowledges his trespass and pleads for a peaceful exit, while Ashwin, completely absorbed in her sketching of the elk spirit, momentarily forgets the ongoing chaos. With tension rising, the party ultimately decided that discretion is the better part of valor and makes a tactical retreat from the clearing, with Jared framing it as a necessary survival measure. They engage in a philosophical discussion about fear and the strength found in unity. Deep thoughts for a group of adventurers, but hey, it's good to reflect. With the immediate danger behind them, Jared requests some first aid for his injuries, and Maya, always prepared, confirms she has a first aid kit on hand. After a successful treatment that reduces his gash status, the group reflects on their strange encounter and the philosophical implication of fear as they set up camp in a safe spot. As they prepare for the night, they discuss various camp actions and evaluate their fellowship statuses, ponder the bonds they've formed. Finally, they pack up their camp, ready to continue their journey into the unknown. After all, there are more adventures to be had and mysteries to unravel. Well, there you go. I'm going to go ahead and take an experience point for that.
That was off Archivist? Archivist?
Yes, yes.
That's not bad.
Including
Really good.
the snarky marks. Yes. All right, so let's go ahead and invite Archivist, get Archie in here to help us. And, whoops. Of course. I canceled it before I select a world. Twilight. Start session. Very good. So we begin our session tonight with a dream, a flashback. The setting of this flashback is the lower sanctum of the Hollow Garden, a forgotten chamber beneath the cliffside temple where Ashrin trained in her youth. The walls are carved with spirals, roots, and hand marks, not words, but shapes meant to be traced with breath. The air is cool and dry, and faint trickles of water echo through unseen channels in the rock. Ashrin, a young version of herself, stands rigid before a spirit knot stone Knot, spirit knot, stone. A pale fist-sized bloom of crystal, threaded with veins of root fossil. She has failed to awaken it again. She has burned the incense, she has intoned the syllables, and nothing. From the shadows behind her, Master N1 steps forward. He is draped in similar robes stitched with fine thread and ash gray silk, his face like cracked bark. His eyes do not blink often. You burn too hot. Not scolding, observing. And Ashwin says, I was calm. I did as you taught me. I breathed with the phrase. I shaped the flow. And one says, you shaped the gesture, but you did not listen to it. There is no answer because you did not ask a question. He kneels beside the knot stone and without speaking forms a cupped spiral with both hands, as though catching rain. His breath rises steadily and rising, like air just before dawn warms the trees. The knot stone hums, not brightly, but enough. A single petal of spiral light begins to unfurl. That's not the pattern in the primer, says Ashwin. And one says, the primer teaches shapes. It does not teach the conversation. Ashwin says, conversation? And one says, breath is what you offer. Gesture is what you shape. And the way he says it, these are not metaphors, they are mechanics. He touches the stone again, but this time his breath changes. A short, descending sigh like a falling leaf. The knot stone flickers once and then dims. Do you see? You commanded it. No, I dismissed it. There is a difference. Even endings require precision. He rises slowly, looking at her, not unkindly. Among the Veirun, those ways this shrine echoes. A gesture without breath is hollow, like a shadow cast by no flame. Breath gives meaning, it gives presence. It is the difference between symbol and truth. He walks her to the carved wall. One spiral among many is partly worn away, smothered by dozens of fingers over time. This is Rethan, the Veiruni sign for rooted becoming, what we call stability. It is made with both hands, an ascending breath. But change the breath, and he performs the same sign, but now breathing is descending, a command. Same shape, new meaning, from becoming to binding. To trap someone in a state they are not ready for. It's dangerous. It is precise. And breath does not lie. If you mean harm, the world will hear it in your air. They return to the knot stone, and one steps back. This time Ashwin kneels. Close your eyes. Feel the breath shape the space around you. Then move as if carving the space the breath already touched. Ashwin's hands move in slow spirals. She breathes in, steady, then lets it out as though exhaling fog into still water. Her fingers press slightly to the knot stone. This time, the bloom begins to hum, faintly, but it does not fade. Well done. It feels quieter than I thought. The world does not scream. Only those who refuse to listen do. And as Ashran begins to wake to the sunlight that has come up over the mountain ridge, the final words echo in her mind's ear, if you will, the ears of her dream. You do not tell the world what is. You ask it to remember. And Ashran, you are now awake.
She would, despite being very groggy, find her notebook next to the bed, or I guess camping roll she would be on, right? And she would jot down some notes, particularly, yeah, this is a memory of hers, and so she remembers
Yep,
it. She's got
indeed.
a good memory. She doesn't know why she would remember that though in a dream at this moment, and so she writes down kind of loose notes of, you know, what that lesson was, what she was doing then, what he said, yeah, the main important things, but also what the, you know, the alignment of the stars that night that she slept, the location that they're at, those sorts of things. You know, perhaps there's, yeah, meaning to the location or the time or the season, and something in that lesson, something, you know, the world is trying to tell her.
Cool. You are approached by Toma.
What were you doing earlier? You were breathing oddly.
She'll give Toma a bit of a dismissing uh, gesture with her, you know, the pencil in her hand, and say, "Not now, Toma. I got to write this down before I forget anything."
But your breath, it was strange.
I mean, what do you mean strange? You have
Just
to tell me more details.
you breathed in and then out. It was odd.
She looks a little puzzled and says, "Well, I think we all breathe in and out, so it had to be something different that made it strange.
Yes,
The breathing too much, too slow."
it was not like Jared. It was not like Maya. Maybe something like Chewbacca, but not really.
I'll have to talk to Chewbacca. See how he breathes. Maybe I'll just watch him.
You whispered while you breathed.
Was I talking in my sleep?
No, your breath whispered. I could almost see it. Maybe Jared could see it too. Almost.
Toma walks over to Jared and points over at Ashwin and asks the same questions like, did you see it, and that sort of thing.
You were. I take it. What time of night is this? Am I doing
No,
a
it's in the
watch,
morning.
or
No, it's in the
it's in the
morning.
morning?
Yeah.
So I mean, and I could say that I watched that you were breathing rapidly at some point, and it did sound like you were muttering something under your breath, but I really didn't focus on it. I just figured that with all the stuff that you jotted down, your brain was spilling out.
Ashton kind of puffs up and says, I don't let anything spill out of my head.
But Toma's not wrong.
Maybe not. I need to think on this some more.
FYI, Chewbacca is a little to the side and he's praying.
Toma will then be attentive to that and listen, and kind of listen in, eavesdrop a little.
Ashton is just peeking glances at Chewbacca as he prays.
In what manner does one pray to the Weeping One?
I need to understand my intentions from my previous attempts to call on the god.
So that's what your prayer is about, trying to gain some understanding.
I'm worried that my intentions were not correct. Maybe hubris or something.
What does it look like whenever you pray?
Well, it's a lot like meditation. Have a holy symbol, a set of rosary beads. I'm just like going through the the regular prayers that I have learned from the book that I borrowed from the young acolyte.
Yeah, Bryn was that acolyte, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you're kind of meditating. Do you speak aloud? Do you whisper? Do you move your lips? Do you just do it all in your head?
Previous experiences in prayer, my previous mercenary companions were kind of, they would like make fun of anything I said, stuff like that, or get involved in some kind of zealous need to tell me that following a fool's errand and stuff like that. So I have actually become pretty guarded prayer. Or what if someone shows an interest?
Jared, I did not notice before, but this is the first time we have slept outdoors. Why does Chewbacca sleep sitting up?
those some people sleep or learn to sleep differently. Some people sleep on their sides. Some people sleep on their back. Some people sleep with their armor off, with their armor on for a bad night's sleep. And I suspect he sleeps that way because he trained himself to sleep that way. And only he knows those sounds.
But he should be awake right now. We are starting to prepare to travel again. But he is still sitting there asleep. Should I wake him?
He might be meditating, which is a form of internally quieting your body and tuning into yourself. I don't necessarily know if that's what he's doing. He may not be asleep. He might be meditating. He could be asleep too. It's hard to say. But is everybody up at camp except for Chewbacca?
I'm sure you're all pretty familiar with the way I sleep, sir.
So, I mean, if he's
Yeah.
asleep and we're going to start breaking camp.
No, he's not asleep. Toma's confused, thinking that his prayer is him sleeping.
Yeah. Well, like I said, he is in contemplative meditation with his deity, eternally supplicating. It's something people do.
For what purpose? I will ask him.
Yes. Yes.
And Toma walks over and taps Chewbacca on the shoulder. Kind of, with purpose. Kind of almost like a poke as much as a tap, right? Boom, boom, boom.
Chewbacca, can you waken from your contemplative mediation?
Well, apparently there is no reason to do anything otherwise. Hello, Toma. How are you? Good morning. Did you sleep well?
Of the day. I did not sleep. But I do not sleep. What were you doing just now?
Were you aware of what was happening yesterday?
Oh, yes.
And the things that I did not do well.
I don't know. What things did you not do well?
Well, we were trying to go into that circle, and apparently that was entirely wrong-headed thinking. And we were expelled quite thoroughly and quickly. And I am trying to make myself not take it too hard and cause myself to lose it. I did have some trouble when I was communicating with my God. And I'm contemplating.
You had conflict with your God?
Communicating with my God.
You had trouble communicating with your God. How do you normally communicate with your God?
Similar to what I was doing a few minutes ago.
Really, you needed to Maybe your God could not hear you because you were not speaking. That would be a problem for communication.
I have seen other people talk to our gods without talking out loud, very loudly. So I believe that my God can, in fact, hear my voice, hear my thoughts.
Oh, well then,
So I don't think I actually need to speak out loud. But
that would make sense, but then does your God not hear you anyway? If he can just read your thoughts?
I can't imagine he is limited by anything so paltry as that.
Well, is there a better way to talk to your God than to just allow him to read your thoughts?
I hear good things about good work.
Perhaps your God
Perhaps
is nearsighted.
Perhaps my God is worthy of more respect.
How does your God get more respect?
It may not be his purpose to just sit around waiting on people.
Does your God speak to you?
Yes,
What has he said to you?
oh, I've talked with him many times about all of the things of my past that I have been trying to get off of my soul. Forgiveness, I guess, would. I want that so that I am less distracted from being able to actually do good work, help people, instead of worrying about my soul.
Does your God grant forgiveness?
Anyone grants forgiveness.
So this is not something that gods alone do.
No,
Then why do you seek forgiveness from your God when you could get it from Jared?
well,
Or
Jared, will you forgive me for my past?
Yes.
Thank you.
Toma's eyes get really wide for a second, as if he has just witnessed some divine intervention of some sort. And he looks back and forth between the two of you.
I see. This is
They
eye-opening and confusing.
they say to err is human, to forgive is divine. That's as close as we can get to emulating a higher being. I think. And with that, I step away.
Can you not emulate a powerful being more closely by exhibiting great power, such as lightning bolts, changing the weather?
I suspect some people do have powers like that. Doesn't necessarily make them more divine-ish, I guess, for lack of a better word.
So
We're still
For-
mortals.
forgiveness then is common.
Not always.
Anyone can do it.
Anyone can do it if they're capable of it. Some people are incapable of forgiving. They're rigid.
Oh.
I grab a branch, dry, like this, and I snap it.
Oh.
They are not like a supple branch where forgiveness can occur.
I see. You have given me more to think on.
Yes. You could ask Martha what it means to forgive, because I have probably asked for more forgiveness than anyone can imagine.
Toma looks at you with a practiced smile and then kind of nods and then goes over to help Maya with something. Maybe she's dealing with the lean-to or whatever that was put up for some shelter. Maybe putting out the fire, something like that.
Ashlyn would be packing up camp as soon as she finished her notes, and whenever she finishes, she would approach Toma and ask him, "So where to next?"
We continue along this trail near the ridge of the mountain, then down.
All right, so we do a swipe fade, and you're all walking along kind of this little road that goes along the side of a mountain. It's kind of naturally hewn along this slope, where maybe the mountain has taken kind of a little flat turn and then back down again some more. So you see down through the forest down below, and then further ahead, the trail begins to curve downward and kind of starts to go downhill. Maybe it's all downhill from here on out. I don't know.
I find that unlikely.
Indeed. Indeed. All right. So you finally come down. You've come out of the colder temperatures. You're kind of in getting into the warmer areas as you're starting to come down into this meadowy area. And what you see is up ahead, kind of as you go around, sheltered by some small trees and bushes, you see you didn't notice it at first, but you see a wagon or cart of some kind, but it's kind of a covered cart, kind of overgrown with moss all along. And let me give you, here it is.
Are we supposed to be able to see something?
You should now. Took me a second to
Okay, yeah.
hit
Now
the
I do.
right button. So down here, you encounter this this traveler who has a wagon and kind of a donkey that pulls it. He is sitting on an upturned bucket, and he is messing around with what looks like a maybe like a piece of leg armor.
Ashrin would approach him and just say, "How's it going, old man?"
Well, Artie's traveler, what you up to?
Traveling?
Well, that suits you. It certainly does. You see that his thing that he's tinkering with there, his little leg armor. It's not just armor. It seems to be made up of pulleys and gears and like string and rope and counterweights and odd stuff like that. And he's trying to apparently strengthen the knee area on it. He's got some tools and he's like using them to twist something like a bolt or something into place tighter. When he finishes, he begins to strap it onto his missing leg. He's got just a stump of a leg and he straps it on and then pulls his pants further down so that it kind of goes down, kind of covers a lot of the leg. And he goes, that thing loosens up sometimes. It's kind of funny, but you know, it's easier to walk when it's working.
Is it just all made out of like wood and string and stuff?
Wood and metal and yeah, absolutely. And some string and there's some, decorative paint. It looks like on a part of the wood that plays the role of the shin, he's even kind of marked it with carved a little bit, so it looks like it's got leg hair. It doesn't really, but that's certainly the clear intent was going to make some hair. So where are you headed to, there, stranger? Oh, sorry, being rude here. Name's Hollis Bramblewick.
Nice to meet you, Hollis. I'm Ashrin. These are my companions.
Ah, I see. And he gets a look at Toma and does like a double take a little bit. And he leans over to you and he says, what happened to him?
It's a long story.
Oh, I'm sure I don't have time, but okay.
You seen any stars fall around here?
Stars? I see them shoot once in a while. They go flying across the sky like somebody kicked them.
Yeah, and then they go somewhere. Usually fall down. You know which way they went?
Oh, I'd say not usually, but I suppose sometimes they might come down. It looks to me like sometimes they just go across.
You're wrong. They do.
Oh, I see. Well, what does a place like that look like?
I don't know.
Where stars
When did you last
fall?
see one?
I'm not sure I have.
I'm saying one that went across the sky. When did you last see one?
Oh, I don't know. It's been a fortnight at least.
Did it land in the direction we're heading?
Land? I said I've never seen one of them land.
Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. Did it go that direction?
What do these stars look like?
Well, on the ground, it depends on how you find them. They can be hot and on fire, bright, shining pieces of metal.
Sparkling like. Metal?
Yeah. Yeah. You seen one?
I can't say that I have.
Okay. Well, it's fun talking to you.
What happens? What happens when it hits the ground? Does it just like a rock dink?
Depends how big.
Oh. Well, if it's a big star, what does it do? I think I've only seen small ones
I
anyway.
wouldn't want to
but-
be near it when it comes down.
Well, okay. What does a small one do?
Like you said, just dinks.
That's it? Just dink? Just dink?
Yep.
Well, how would I know if I've seen one?
I don't know.
Well,
You seen anything that's
you're the one looking for it. What are you looking for?
Like I said, they come down. They're, bright pieces of metal. Sometimes they're on fire. Sometimes they've been around a long time and they're no longer on fire.
And you're looking for one.
Yep.
You have a collection, or you just looking for bright metal?
She kind of waves her staff a bit and shows the tip of it. Yeah, got one right here.
Oh my! Well, look at that. Can I have a look?
You can look, not hold.
Okay. He kind of squinks one eye all the way down and kind of moves his other eye around, trying to get a good look at it. Ah. So, would you like to trade? Maybe I've got something more interesting than that just piece of metal there.
Ashrin looks offended, pulls back her staff, and says, "I would never."
Well, what else you got for trade? If I haven't made it clear, I am a bit of a tinker and a bit of a barterer.
I think I'm good, but maybe one of the others wants something.
Well,
Maybe
I am
a new leg.
a purveyor. I've only got one of those, but here I am, a purveyor of many things of interest. So perhaps we can work a deal. Not you, but your friends.
I think I've
So
seen
you've
him
done a bit of
not.
travel across the Dales.
I'm sorry? Yes, I travel all
You-
over the Dales.
Do
You know,
map? Do you keep any maps to that effect that might reflect the more recent state of the Dales?
maps. Might have a map. Let me see. I just normally go where my nose takes me. Let me look. I don't seem to have a map, but I've got a driftwood compass, if you're interested.
I look at it. What state is it in?
He holds it out. It's a cracked wooden arrow pinned to a copper plate. So it's, He looks at you and he goes, "You might have noticed it doesn't point north.
Yeah.
It only points to places you've been but have forgotten."
Is that true? I look at it. Which way is it pointing?
You have to hold it very still, and it's about this big around. And so you hold it still, and the arrow is kind of still spinning, and it's kind of shaky on the pin that it's on, and it kind of settles, kind of going, say, east from here.
And if I turn around and hand it to Chewbacca and he holds it, where does it?
Okay, let's see about that.
I put my hand out.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. It settles on pointing north.
Interesting. And how much for this?
Well, what have you got? You got anything interesting? If you know what I mean?
Anything? Okay, let's see. I mean, all I have are points, unfortunately, which really aren't impressive other than the fact that they're gold.
I'm not really interested in gold.
I had that suspicion.
I like to see, things that are interesting.
I do not blame you. And I gingerly hand it back to him. Fortunately, that's part of the reason why we are adventuring, to acquire interesting things. Perhaps if we do, we could speak with you again on better terms.
Haven't you found some interesting things yet, or are you just getting started?
Well, I'd have to say we're probably getting started.
Well, you're not near any place right now. Where'd you get started from?
Back, I tell him, more or less, the general area where we originally started.
What kind of things are you looking for? I don't have a map.
Unknown. And that's part of the unknown, isn't it? We'll know it when we get to it. As you can see, my comrade is interested in star metal. If we come across it, it'll be interesting. If we come across something else, that will be interesting. But we won't know until we are on the road and find it.
All right. Well,
Ashrin, she had been sitting on a stump, just kind of bored, her, fist in her cheek, just taking a break from the walking that they had been doing. But she kind of perks up and gets up, heads over to old man. You got any tomes?
Tomes.
Yeah, books.
Oh, books. Thought you were looking for tomes.
Doesn't matter what form it's in. Scrolls, parchment, whatever.
Oh, hey, I'll tell you one thing I do got you might like. I've got folded paper with one fold too many.
Folded paper with one too many folds.
Yes. Probably never seen that before.
No. How do you do that?
Well, first, I reckon you'd have to know how many folds is right. But when you got a paper that's been folded one time too many, you got to be real careful with it. Only unfold it somewhere sacred. Something will remember.
Has it got anything written on it?
I have never unfolded it, so I wouldn't
point.
know. Maybe, now here's something you might like. Here's something. I've had this, almost forgot it was down here. And he rummages into his cart, of course, into his wagon. And he kind of you see him like stretching to reach so far down into this compartment or chest or something. And he says, see, here it is. And he pulls out what looks like a ladle, a long-handled, silver-tipped ladle. He says, this here is a starcatcher's spoon. See? You'd probably like that. It used to scoop morning dew said to fall from shooting stars, so some people use it in naming rights or curing hiccups. Versatile too.
Can I hold it?
Well, yeah, if you don't run off with it.
I wouldn't steal.
Of course not. You don't seem like the stealing type. He hands you the ladle.
Yeah, she'll hold it and just kind of, what would you say? Like kind of measure the weight of it. Just kind of get a feel for it.
It's probably brass, and so it's it's not too light, but it's not very thick metal, and it looks like to you it looks like it could have been used in a kitchen somewhere, but it does have that silver tip to it, like up where where the bowl is. It's kind of the edge of the bowl is kind of silver. Could be pure silver, maybe.
Yeah, she'll inspect the tip. Flick it, see what kind of ding it makes.
Mm-hmm. It's good.
And then she'll make like a scooping motion, see if anything happens.
Oh no, you should be careful with that. They say you scoop it the wrong way and you end up married to someone you shouldn't be.
That would be tragic.
I mean, I'm sure you make a nice Sarah, but you got to get the right Varn, you know what I'm saying? For sure, for sure.
She kind of shakes herself out of it and hands the ladle back to him and says, it seems interesting, but I think I'd prefer the paper over that.
Just, as you sure? I mean, never trust a tool that don't look confused. You know what I'm saying? Because if it knows exactly what it does, it probably doesn't work.
I kind of understand. If I find something of value for you, will you still be in this location when we come back?
Oh, gods, I hope not.
So you travel around?
Constantly. Yep. Don't like to let grass grow under my feet. You know what I'm saying?
You let it grow on your roof.
That's different. And that's moss more than grass.
You ever been to the Dales?
Ain't we in them right now?
You ever been to what was the town called? anyone remember the town where your house and estate is?
Thornbrush.
Thornbrush. Yeah. I'll ask if he's ever been to Thornbrush.
I don't think my nose has ever taken me there before. What'd it smell like
go-
there?
Eh, I actually didn't pay attention to that. Maybe I should.
I find that a
Anyways,
bit odd.
would you be willing to meet us there in about a week?
If my nose knows the way, I'm sure he can take us there.
I can give you a map.
I don't know if my nose can read a map.
I mean, it probably smells like the place.
Okay. We could try.
She pulls out her map of the Dales and opens it up and shows him where Thornbrush is. Says she picked up the map in Thornbrush.
Hmm. Well, all right. If you're going to give me a map, I'll tell you what. I'll trade you the map. I don't take no charity. So I'll trade you a map for this stone eye.
Okay. Don't I do anything special?
Of course. He pulls
Doesn't
out.
make me blind, does it?
He pulls out a smooth rock with a natural hole through the center. It is tied with leather. The first time you look through it, you see a memory that's not yours.
Only the first time?
That is correct.
There's a chance it could be useful. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for the map. I now have. Hey, you there? You look like a lord of some sort. I happen to have come across a map.
I think I'm familiar with that one, so there's nothing of value to me.
Oh, I'm sure there's got to be something of value. What about this ring? Maybe the question is, you got something of value to me? Because this here thumb ring, made out of clay, is etched with a spiral and root motif that he shows you. He goes, I found this here ring in the ruins of an old orchard temple. People say...
Astrid rushes over. Where did you get that?
I just said where I got it. In the ruins of an old orchard temple. People tell me it steadies the hand when promises are made.
I'll trade you the stone eye for it.
I used to have a stone eye like that.
Yeah, this one's new, unused.
Oh. Okay. Well, that means I could look through it again, couldn't I? That's interesting. All right.
Maybe.
All right. All right. I think that's a good trade. Let's trade.
She hands him the stone eye.
You have a deal.
She's clutching this ring like Gollum.
Ah, precious.
That's right. What about...
I do believe you're
What about-
making out quite well.
You there, sir, with the sword, and that, you got a little bit to go before you get a beard as white as mine, but not bad, not bad. So, what do you think about this one? He digs out from behind. He like hobbles around behind. You can hear the whizz, whizz of his leg, and he it's almost like when the knee bends, it pulls the pulley up, and then as he lifts his leg up, it goes back down again from the weight, the counterweight, and it moves his leg forward a little bit so he can stand back up on it again as he takes his next step. He goes, got me this knucklebone latchkey. Bet you'd like that. He holds up a bone charm that looks like it's got a protruding section like maybe a key. He goes, this thing fits any door you truly believe you've been through before.
I'm just thinking, I would love to trade something with this guy, but I just don't have anything other than gold, and I will not part with my blade, so. Let's see. Tempting offer, my friend, but you might want to talk to Chewbacca. Chewbacca, maybe you have something that would be of interest to our friend here.
Yes.
And I sidestep real fast.
Hello, sir.
What have you got to trade?
Have food. Do you like food? I have food.
Oh, well, I suppose it depends. Normally, I like things that I can barter again. So, is there anything fancy about your food?
You can't barter it again. I have a disguise kit. Would you like a disguise kit?
Oh, now that might be interesting. I have me here a button of the quiet cloak. He pulls out of his pocket a large brass button sewn with black thread. Now this here used to belong to a storyteller who never spoke above a whisper.
What was his name?
I could never hear it.
That tracks.
Maybe you know him. Maybe you know him. What about this? You might like this. I've got a bottle here. And he pulls out, he reaches into his wagon again, and you can hear him rummaging around, and he pulls it. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. He goes, all right, I've got here a bottle of dust that fell upward.
That sounds exciting.
The bottle itself has some fine gray silt that is inside the stoppered flask, and you see it that it's kind of up near the top of the flask.
Can you tell me the story in greater than a whisper?
I'm not the storyteller. This here was swept from the floor of a place that didn't know anything about gravity. Forgot itself.
Is that possible?
Well, you're looking at it.
So like the dust sits at the top of the bottle or something?
Yeah, it's a little bottle that sits up at the top. It's a little flask kind of thing. And it's all just kind of gray dust stuff along the cork.
It's a trade.
Ah! What are you giving me again?
My disguise kit.
Oh yeah, disguise kit. Okay. So, oh yeah, so you've burned it. Okay. All right. He definitely has an eccentric personality, but maybe you made a good trade there.
Do you have anything from the land of Fraud?
Let me see. Let me see. Maybe. What's it called again?
Fraud.
Any chance you know how to spell that?
No.
Me neither. Would you know something from there if you saw it?
Definitely.
Oh, what about this? And he pulls up a pewter bell. And he goes, now this here, not exactly sure where it's from, but I think it's far away. And what you said sounds pretty far away. This one here is, it's a bell. And it's got a hollow clapper.
And why?
Well, it don't ring normally, but if you spin it, you can hear it humming.
Oh,
It's supposed to carry words not said aloud. Trick is knowing which ones it heard.
I want it.
All right. You got something to trade? What's in your backpack, sir?
An unnamed loadout tag?
That's all you got?
That is a curiosity.
That is interesting. Very interesting. You have a quarterstaff. You have a study guide to the worshiper of the goddess. Worship of the... Oh, it's not goddess. It's God.
Yes,
See if I can
right.
edit that. Worship of the God. Okay. So you have your study guide. You have your quarterstaff. You've got food. You've already given up your disguise kit.
A leather armor.
Oh, what's special about your armor?
Got my blood in it.
Oh my. So I'm going to have to learn a little bit about you to see if that's interesting.
Whoa,
I mean-
whoa. I placed my hand on his chest. I'm like, think carefully about what it is you're trading, my friend. That might be the only thing that stops a blade from piercing your heart.
But he's got that pop. It's from where I come from. I haven't seen one since I was a boy.
All right. I mean, you are an adult. You can choose what you choose. I'm just giving you some friendly advice. With that, I step back.
I could sell him the study guide and really tank my character. I do kind of, I do kind of think I need help from the group.
While they are negotiating, it is daytime, correct?
Yeah, you guys are. It's daytime.
And we are in a relatively open area, correct?
Yeah.
What kind of shadow is he casting?
Well, the sun's pretty high up, so it's a pretty short shadow.
But appropriate for the person. In other words, it's not mismatching to some degree.
Oh, right. Yeah. He's not casting like a giant troll's shadow.
Or glamour or anything that we're not quite catching, so just making sure. Just gonna lean back. Watch.
I would like to pray to my God for strength.
Okay. You're feeling weak right now? Weak-willed? Yes. You want to buy stuff?
I'm being tempted with material things.
All right. Start your praying.
Track?
No, we're not looking to like create a tag or anything, are we? So we're looking just to see if you maybe get some perceived answer. Let's see. Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to throw in, and I think you can do better than that. Maybe. Where is it? There. Did that work? It didn't seem. That's interesting. Oh, it did work. Okay, good. So there you go. Okay, so you are compelled to trade something. You are now the proud owner of a bell with a hollow knocker. A pewter bell with a hollow clapper. Add that to your thing, and then I'm going to see what I'm going to take away from you. Maybe you traded. Okay, so it turns out you don't have anything. You're praying for strength not to really want to buy this thing, and he throws in there. I'll tell you what. I'll trade you for a memory. Tell me a good story from your past.
He's talking to Chewbacca, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
That catches my particular interest. I lean in a little more so I can hear every juicy word.
Okay. So that seems like a good deal to you, and you now are the proud owner of a bell, but we got to hear the story. What do you say, Chewy?
I think
The only real condition is it has to be a true story from your past, a memory.
a story about me.
Yes.
And trap just snapped. I have a big smile on my lips. This is getting better.
I once wanted to please my master when I was a young man so badly. I ended up betraying my people.
And
I was apparently so gullible that just a little bit of praise made me so eager to get good feedback. And I was trained to find secrets of people and then give them over to my master.
what was one
One
of
day,
the secrets? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
and one day I discovered that what I had told my master had led to a terrible, terrible, terrible reckoning by his master on the people I had betrayed. So, 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 so unthinkably terrible.
Can you think of what it was?
Is that not enough?
I was just curious. You said it was unthinkably terrible, so I was curious if I could get it out of you.
I could float down the river on the blood of the people that died.
Now, there you go. Blood floating. That's good. Okay. So, with that, the deal is done. That was a good story. You feel some relief.
Chewbacca is just completely unable to move, act, speak, anything. So it's like collapsing in on himself.
If you ask me there, Marshall, I think he's thinking about it.
Chewbacca? After the story he said? Yeah, I would expect that. And I walk over to him and I place my hand on Chewbacca and I go, past actions don't necessarily define future actions. Can be better than who you are. There's always forgiveness that can be sought.
Toma steps forward to offer some help to the peddler. Some explanation, he says.
Context is everything.
And then he steps back.
That is right. So
Thank you, Jared. Thank you.
And then he takes a step over to Chewbacca and he says,
Don't worry, I forgive you.
Thank you. After that, I pull the scarf that I always cover my scars with down, and I show everyone my face, like not as scarred as I would have led you to believe.
not all scars are visible. That I turn around and I walk.
I had been in hiding, and I fear that I may have brought trouble to this team.
Warm standing trouble's our middle name. Each and every one of us brings something to the table. Don't feel like you're the only one exclusively hoarding it.
Do not worry, Chewbacca. I am sure these heroes can handle it. Jared is capable. Maya is too. And Ashwin can draw pictures of it.
Oh my god, I give such a hearty laugh. That, my friend, was well said.
Ashton speaks up from looking at her ring, says, "You'll thank me later."
Okay. We have a deal.
Oh my goodness, I do believe the peddler's rubbing off.
Anybody else want to trade? I've got to get on my way before I lose the day.
I've got a story.
Oh, do you now?
Oh, yes. And 100% true.
Oh, well, can't say I like all them stories, but maybe yours will be good.
It includes adventuring parties,
Oh,
old horrors from the past,
ooh, okay.
undead creatures
It's
painted
getting-
by miasma. Am I getting your curiosity piqued?
Well, I that sounds very interesting.
And I regale him with the story and the tale of the first adventuring group that I went out with. And how we had encountered a miasma that had tainted creatures in the land, how we fought it, how I had earned this sword, and how we fought and defeated it, but didn't end it. How I was scarred, newly killed. I have, and I tell him to look into my eyes and the red tint around it, the proof.
Ooh, that was pretty good. I like that story. I'll trade you for this knot. This here, sir, he pulls out from the back of his wagon, is a loop of cord twisted in a peculiar pattern. It is now hard as iron. Now, a lot of people mistake this for junk, but this is an old ways builder's knot. It holds a blueprint. But you gotta listen with your eyes. Sounds like you could probably do that.
That's interesting. A word of advice, my friend, when traveling. The lands are becoming more and more unsafe. I do mention to him the Firebird and how we had encountered a fairy circle with gnomes and some spirit creature that nearly killed the whole party. I do tell him where it's at so that he doesn't stumble across it. Just be mindful that the land is changing.
Ah, well, the land always changes, doesn't it?
Sometimes not for the better. But I do tell him where that circle is because he's going to be going that direction, I take it, where we just came from?
Yeah?
Yeah, I describe it. They don't like it when you enter into their circle. I
Well,
describe the creature to him.
It's a fairy ring. Of course.
Yeah, no warning to let you know other than the fact that we stumbled into it. It was great.
Nobody knows about them better than me. I've seen one or two or three in my day.
Have you seen the creature? And I describe that huge elk-like humanoid.
Oh. Sounds like he's got some pretty big horns.
Ashrin
Well.
pulls out her notebook and shows the picture. Yeah, pretty big.
Oh, you did draw a picture of it. Well,
Yeah, our comrade wasn't kidding.
I can't tell for sure, but I bet it's a pretty good likeness. Not a bad scrawl you got there.
Thank you.
Well, I best be on my way. My nose! My nose! Let's get on out.
As long
He
as
walks
your nose
around.
keeps you out of trouble, you'll be fine. And I pat him on the back. Thank you for your time.
He gets me in more trouble than you'd think. All right. And he climbs up in his wagon and he gets his little switch out and he whacks the back of his mule. He goes, "Let's go, my nose." And the wagon starts to kind of creak and rumble back onto the little trail that you've got there. And he begins to slowly go off. And as he goes off and around the corner, you see his hand come out and he waves. And then that's all you see is his hand. The rest of him is hidden by the wagon. And off he goes.
Oh, that was interesting. And I turn around to Chewbacca and I go, "We're here for you. Don't forget." Now, what time of
Thank
day
you.
is it?
It's close to noon.
Close to you.
You hear him call from the wagon as he's kind of off in the distance. And he just goes, "Oh, you probably ought to stay away from the mine."
Stay away from the mine.
Don't say that. Kids yearn for the mine.
Dark things there, dark things. I don't know what to tell you. Dark, I tell you.
Safe journey.
Get back
And
on
with
the
that, I
road,
turn
you
around.
little toad.
All right. I look at Toma. We should continue while there's still daylight and avoid the mine whenever we come upon it. Unless you require us to go. But let's see how far we get.
Why would he warn us about a mine?
Dangers, the same way I warned him about the fairy circle.
Maybe he does not know what is in the mine.
Maybe we don't know
Maybe.
what is in the fairy circle.
Or maybe he does.
Now you're thinking, my friend. I pat Toma on the back. Good firm clasp. You're getting it.
Context.
Is everything.
Is everything.
Yes.
Okay.
What an odd peddler. I let Asher know that his shadow wasn't odd, so it's not like he was anything other than what he was showing.
If he could change his shape, he could change his shadow.
True. At least on a cursory illusion, it wasn't that. But
I wonder
again,
if
didn't harm
some of
us.
those. I wonder. He had a lot of strange items. I wonder if there's some strange item in the mine.
He warned about avoiding the mine.
I am not sure what a mine is.
Warnings are just clues of where to find mysteries.
I see. Mysteries.
And a mine is a place, usually a hole dug in the ground, a big hole that people can mostly fit through. Or it's a cave that people go into and they dig up things in there.
I see. A hole where people dig up.
Gold, precious metals, quartz, gems, things of that nature. Hence why you would say you're mining for something. But in some cases, a mine can be dangerous. It can cave in on you. It could have unwanted creatures in there. It could be unfriendly. You could get lost. But that could happen walking down the street these days.
Yeah, so let's go see the mine.
I'm not too eager on that one. We got a
At
warning.
least go see what kind of mine it is.
Well, let's just see if he even brings us that close. Toma, would you like to lead the way?
Yes.
And as he
Thank
walks, he kind of seems to be muttering or droning something quietly, but well enough for you to hear, Jared, as you walk next to him.
What does he say?
Where the wishes rot and roots grow thin, the hollow thorn will draw you in. It drinks what trees would freely give. It feeds on dreams, so none may live. It speaks not loud, but soft and sly. It offers peace, then tells you, die. A crown of thorns for those who pray. Their hopes unmade, their names decay. So mark the bark with careful tread, and fear the place where wishes fled. Jared,
Yes, Toma?
could the mine be the domicile of a witherbound?
That phrase I am not 100% familiar with. What did he just say exactly? Witherbound?
Yes, witherbound.
Is that a creature? An entity?
A source of miasma.
I was really hoping you weren't going to say that. But it's possible. And now we'll have to investigate it.
The antithesis of a wishing tree.
Corrupt. It still boils down to corrupt miasma. And that is what is there. That is what we are seeking to destroy. Then let us make haste.
I believe there is a witherbind not far from here, perhaps. If I remember.
Well,
If
let's see how trusty your memory is.
If I take you there and help you destroy the witherbind, will this build trust? Is this context for trust?
Yeah, actually it is.
Then I will take you.
Thank you.
But be careful.
Aren't I always?
Stay with me. I may be able to provide safety. I may be able to trick it. Look for the heart root. When it is time, cut the heart root. And you cut the witherbind.
I will remember that. And I turn around and look at the rest of the team. You all will remember this.
Of course I will.
Yes.
Unfortunately, with that warning, I get the feeling that you have to be in the moment. And I look at Ashran and not distracted.
I mean, we can cut the heart root after we observe it, right?
No. Not all things are meant to be studied. Not all things will allow you to study them. And not if that studying is going to cost lives.
Sometimes you have to take risk, and sometimes you have to make sacrifices. Some discoveries are worth it.
And what is worth discovering when the discoverer is dead? Answer me that one. What good is your discovery if you are dead?
It won't be any good to me, but maybe to someone else.
I forgive you, Ashwin.
I don't need forgiving.
Oh, but you may want it even if you don't need it.
As you say, context is everything. But right now, let's just see what we find.
Okay. So you proceed on your way, and by mid to later afternoon, Toma stops dead in his tracks.
Jared, Ashwin, Chewbacca, Maya. Look there.
Ahead, off the path, sort of down into a little ravine, there is a tree that has vines, kind of this pale white barked vine wrapped around it, and it looks like it is strangling the tree. This is just a normal, kind of a normal tree, and just like a ponderosa pine or something along those lines. But it looks like it has it's suffering from disease of some sort. The branches are kind of grayed and they look a little brittle. There's no pine needles or fronds on it. And the vine seems to be sort of familiar, but the fact is this vine looks dried out. But it has withered this tree. It looks similar to a brittle, dried out miasmic vine.
It looks like, how long ago do you remember seeing this?
You're talking to Toma?
Yes.
Toma says,
Ah, these are witherbind vines. We are not far. This has seen too much daylight. The vines, they do not drink light well.
That is good to know. I had my suspicions.
so it looks to you like this crusty, maybe even almost like petrified vine just goes further into this ravine and disappears between some rocks, like a crack in the rocks.
How wide is this crack?
Not wide at all, just barely enough for the vine to have come through. You know how some plants kind of grow through rock and even
Right.
sometimes can part the rocks a little bit, like weeds in a sidewalk. Um, and so this looks like it grew out from that and attached onto this tree and then saw too many days of sunlight and became dead, paralyzed, petrified, etc. But took the tree with it, of course. Like maybe it sapped the life out of the tree to try to stay alive and then ran out of
It
tree.
didn't
life.
realize it was exposing itself to sunlight.
Yeah, or just ran out of eating the tree. The tree was dead, and then the sunlight got it. Something like that.
Is there anything unusual about these vines? I mean, God knows my character's been smacked around more than enough by miasma vines. Is there anything different about it? These are spiky, smooth.
Dead. They're a
dead.
little thorny. They're a little thorny, but the others had thorns too, right? So
Okay, so nothing
again,
unusual.
this
about this.
definitely looks, yeah, brittle and dead, or maybe even solid, like almost like petrified stone.
Ashrin, are you capable of generating sunlight from your staff?
I don't know. My powers come from the twin stars. I've always assumed the light of them is the light that I create. I don't know if that's the same kind of light as the sun.
You might want to try and see if you can. It would come in super handy. And better to know that it can be done or can't be done than to expect the moment to use it, not have it.
I mean, I know how to create my mage fire, which creates the light. Maybe that can still work. I don't know another spell like that.
But maybe you can alter the one you know.
Maybe, but that's not an easy thing to do.
Nope, didn't expect it to be. Just asking. How much light is left? Are we going to continue pressing on?
It's it's late afternoon, but you still have a few hours of sunlight left.
I mentioned that to Toma, that we have a few hours left of sunlight. Will we reach our destination by that point? Or will we still have further to go when we need to make camp?
I feel we are near. I think we will soon arrive if you wish to go to the mine. I feel
I think we should
near.
press on to the as far as we can get to the mine. And I don't know if you guys want to call it there or just, camp and talk about some stuff before we go in.
I would like to camp before we go into the mine.
Okay. So we'll go a little further and find a nice clearing and camp before we head on to the final destination.
Very well. And while the Witherbind is below the ground. It may be better to enter its presence while the sun is in the sky.
That makes sense. That is strategically planning. That was well thought out.
Well, I am showing loyalty to my friends and
That you
not the miasma. This is proof that I am stronger. No, we are stronger.
Yes.
I am stronger.
now you are understanding.
We are stronger.
Yes. Rightfully
We
so.
will be stronger. Yes, we will be stronger.
Well said.
So Toma says,
This here is far enough from the Witherbind. It should not trouble us until we trouble it if we stay here.
That sounds good. So we make camp.
okay. So you make camp. And so let's look at our camping rules again. We go up to hero. Where the heck is it? Under quests and transformation. Camp. Where's camp? I'm almost there. Okay. And then suddenly I'm not. Not even close. All right, here it is. Right? Camping and sojourning. There it is. All right. So, your fellowship stops to recover their strength from traveling or admire the view in between scenes. Travel, drama, and adventure. The flow of scenes pauses for a while and you take a break. A camping scene. In this scene, you describe what each hero is doing around the camp in broad strokes, although you may zoom in on interesting details. All right, so the first step is to expire story tags in your backpack. A pause for camping or sojourning often means a significant length of time passes. This is a convenient moment for you and the narrator to review the story tags in your backpack as well as other story tags, if any, and expire some of them. So I'm going to try to bring up your characters here. Let's see. Chewbacca. We'll skip Maya. All right. So you don't have any story tags right now, but I think we may make some during camping, right? So now you expire your backpack tags. So there's a couple different kinds of expiration. For example, things that might actually truly expire, like have an expiration date, so to speak. Like a numbing salve may have lost its properties, or an ally with you must part with you and go their own way. Also, things that must be maintained, such as if you want to keep your practiced battle stance, like if you had a story tag because you created it and you want to keep it. So that's something you would have to maintain. Maybe you have to repair your boots, that sort of thing. And finally, some story tags represent things that remain in the story but lose their importance and power to affect it. Right? So, like a dagger is the example that's used here. You may have found a dagger off a dead body, but unless you make it into a power tag, the dagger is not a permanent fixture in your hero's story. You can still possess the dagger, but actions with the dagger will no longer have a power tag from it. They don't gain a power from using it. So you can prolong the importance of such things by recreating the same tag.
Cool.
So the first thing to do is establish your campsite or place of stay. So campsite here might be something that you're looking for as far as to create a couple of story tags that you can use while camping. So they may have annoying gnats, they may have plentiful greenery, lavish amenities if you're staying not at a campsite. Maybe there are spies everywhere, or you're in a dangerous mine. If you try camping inside of a mine, for example. You may have things lurking in the dark as a tag, that kind of thing. So let's see first if there are some ideas. Like last time, and it's still sitting here in the scene window, is cover from the night. So what kind of tags would you, let's create a couple of tags that you can use that might make sense for the campsite. You could tell me what you think you should have in the campsite. That might be a good tag for you.
Okay. Makeshift fire pit.
Okay, so we'll put a warm fire. What did you say, Chewbacca?
A pewter bell.
You already have that in your backpack, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now you need to decide. Okay, so we've got warm fire. Ashwin, what do you think? Clear view of the sky?
Yeah, clear night.
Okay. Okay, so we'll say clear sky, warm fire. All right. Is there
Light
anything
breeze.
else? Oh, well, how will that help you? Okay, I think we can use that. I can think of ways that can not be good too. Okay, so there's a light breeze, clear sky, warm fire. All right, that sounds good. So now you need to describe when you set up camp, what are your actions? So are there any statuses that you want to recover from? Each hero's choice of activity may affect activities that follow it, even though the activities may happen simultaneously during the same period of rest. For example, choosing to rest first and remove Tired 3 status might improve the hero's chances when they build a raft in the next period, right? So you're no longer going to be tired, right? So you can choose to have describe a spend your time. How many? Let's see. So it says go around the fellowship and have each hero choose what they do during that period from the options below: rest, reflect, or take a camp action. And you gain the associated benefit from rest and reflect. For example, can only be chosen once in each camping or sojourning session, while a camp action can be chosen multiple times. So rest is expire statuses like get rid of tired, hungry, bruised. You could also, let's see, it says here, story tags. You can restore power tags that would naturally be recovered after a rest, such as positive attitude. You're not going to be able to recover some burned tags like disguise kit, because you're out in the middle of nowhere, so you're not really going to be able to put together a disguise kit out here. You could, when you get to a populated area or someplace that has a store or something, you may be able to kind of piecemeal a new disguise kit together and regain that tag. For some reason, it looks like devotion on Chewbacca, you're ready for an improvement there, a new tag or a theme improvement. Let's see what else. So reflect is to mark improve. So you can choose to rest or reflect. You may choose one of those two things. Let me look and see if I'm misunderstanding. Each hero's choice of activities may affect the activities that follow.
From what I see is you get 2 activities during camping that you get to do. And you get to choose between the 3 activities.
Gotcha. So you'd have 2 of the 3. That's what I was thinking. That's why I stopped to go back and look. So you could take a rest and have a camp benefit. You could take reflect and mark improve. And then your third choice is take a camp action like bandage or heal wounds, converse with fellow heroes, cook, craft and repair, entertain, hunt and forage, prepare, read and research, or scout ahead, or practice divination. So those are the
I intend to tell everybody this story about Elias the Shadow.
All right, now you're going to reveal it. All right,
Yes.
Well, I think we're all waiting to hear that part of your story, so why don't you give us a little rendition?
Elias the Shadow was a young man who was trained by the Grand Vizier of a great emperor. And he was trained to be so uninteresting that nobody knows he's here ever, and he can just basically infiltrate himself into any place and listen to everything and take notes and pass that information back to his master, who supposedly would ultimately pass it back up to the emperor. I was the master of disguise, as you can see that I had my disguise kit out before. I was also very good at basically copying the behaviors of people in any situation so that they would immediately accept me in their presence. I knew how to dress appropriately. I knew how to speak in many different ways so that people would believe me. And I was taught by my master that the people that I was telling information about were obviously bad and wanted to uh, bring down the emperor. So obviously, their uh, their information and what was done with it was entirely justifiable. And but then he also gave me the sensation that I was better than them because I knew all of this information and I knew how to get their information, and they were basically sheep at my feet. So usually I would be long gone before anything happened with the information that I had provided. Uh, One day I was still there as a young man in a town that was punished by the emperor, and I knew that the information I had provided for these people was 100% culpable. And I was sitting in a town burning and full of raping and slavery and cruelty and monstrous acts. And I just could not remain believing in what I had done was right. And I abandoned my post and I fled and traveled as fast and far as I could, changing identity and basically completely randomly traveling the world looking for ways to to distance myself from Elias the Shadow. But now I fear that someone, my master, my lord, or persons that want to use me against them, have been looking for me all my life. So I have been a completely random mercenary, nameless, shapeless, constantly changing, uh, staying within my mercenary groups rather than going in and being observed and seen and noted. I have spent years and years and years trying to evade my hunters. And in that time, I have been trying to atone. And so that is the creature before you today, Chewbacca, the mask of Elias the Shadow.
I see a man who's just trying to improve his lot in life. Again, where you start and where you end don't necessarily have to be what others predict. You have some agency. Exercise it. Learn from your mistakes if you can. Be a better man. Leave better than you came in.
I yearn to do so, but I still have enemies. You notice that I I have my face completely born. I've been hiding it the entire time. You've never actually seen my face. And I had always used the excuse of having very horrible scars on my face. But now I'm completely in front of you, a weathered old mercenary. Many scars.
Haven't met a man worth its spit who doesn't have. You don't corner the market on that one, my friend. Whether they're known or unknown, I can assure you, that's just the way of the world. But account for yourself, and you're not alone. You're surrounded by friends.
Chewbacca actually, breaks down and starts to weep when he says that.
Ashrin has been just awkwardly listening. She's not used to discussions like this. It's very different from everything she knew growing up in the order.
Cool. This is a good time, I think, to look at improving your fellowship theme. There are some theme improvements that might make
We
sense.
can unburn that tag. Got
I
each
already
other's
did.
back.
Yep, I did that already. So what's interesting is that the fellowship theme book has some improvements. One is united by the cause. Once per session, when the entire fellowship cooperates in a single scene while aligned with the theme's quest, each member of the fellowship may unscratch a fellowship theme tag. That would effectively free up the whole theme again, right? So the burning is scratching, apparently. They've changed the term to be scratch and unscratch. So you could unburn tags once per session. If everyone cooperates together in a single scene, then they can unscratch a fellowship theme tag each. Or there's campfire stories. When you camp, one of the fellowship members may share a story from their past they've been reminded of. Each member of the fellowship may then remove one tier of a harmful status at the narrator's discretion. Or, the other one's called For the Fellowship. When camping, one member of the fellowship may take an action that affects the entire fellowship, ignoring its scale. Any of those sound interesting, or would you like to add another tag to the fellowship instead?
I think I told a story.
Yeah, that's what made me think of it, is because there is a campfire stories improvement, but then, so that would be one thing. Right now, you don't have any statuses that require that, but that certainly could be, this could set the precedence for telling stories.
Yeah.
That
And
actually sounds very cool.
removing one tier of harmful status. So if you're wounded, you can reduce that by one tier. Everyone in the fellowship. So there's that, or there's For the fellowship, you could take an action that affects the entire fellowship. Or I also thought united by the cause, once per session, you could unscratch a fellowship theme tag if during that scene everyone cooperated together. So what do you think? Any one of those sound good? Or would you like to add a tag? Because it's ready for an improvement.
Is there anything that needs to be scratched at this time?
No, not right now. So none of this is really going to help you right now, but that made me think, since the
Unless
fellowship...
you add a tag, then that could come into play.
Sure. If you add a tag, then that's an extra power tag you could use.
Guys, any power a tag that you think would make sense for the fellowship.
So the questions for the tags are: where do you meet, work, rest, or prepare for action? What do you do well together? In what environments or situations are you most comfortable? What special sources of information do you have? What sort of reputation or name have you made for yourself? Or what kind of special gear, resource, or power is at your disposal? Those are the questions for tags. Any thoughts?
Our special power could be dumb luck.
What did you say? Dumb luck?
Yeah.
I guess that would be what, like against the odds?
Or you could say we're stubborn in a good way. You know, we persevere through some pretty bad situations just through, you know, not giving up.
Yeah.
So we could add something like, you
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 could
know,
certainly put dumb luck.
or we could do something like, you know, perseverance, uh, as a team, something like that.
Anyone
Put down rise
second that motion?
rise to face the challenge, or whatever, something along those lines. I agree, that makes sense. I'll
Like
second it.
one
Okay.
of my goals, my motivation as my mercenary is that I want to teach my companions how to be a team, to build trust, and to work together as a tight unit, to know each other's strengths and weaknesses, things like that. And so that was supposed to get rid of that inexperienced team weakness. But I haven't had a chance to approach that as a.
Mm-hmm. There's time. So, rise to the challenge, dumb
Yeah,
luck,
I think that's
stubborn in a good way. What?
I kind of like perseverance, partly. Yeah, I'll be honest. Like from a metagaming, uh, we get hurt a lot, in our encounters and stuff, and having a more like defensive tag that someone could use to help them get out of a sticky situation
Mm-hmm.
would probably
so what,
be
a
pretty helpful.
never give up?
Or yeah, never give up or something
Never
like that.
surrender. I'm just sorry.
Never give up.
Never give
I
up.
couldn't help it.
Never surrender.
Well, it's a good setup if it fits
All
the
right.
bill.
Never give up. All right. I've added that. If you change your mind about that tag's actual name, then you certainly can change it. All right. Good. So, all right. So Chewbacca has told his story. So we go back to camp actions. So that might be kind of like an entertain others with a story, music, something like that. So that's one of your actions. Chewy, what's the other action you take? How about, since you don't have any tags to expire or statuses to expire, how about reflect and mark improve on one of your themes?
Yes.
Okay. So go ahead and do that. You can mark improve on I think your past has come up quite a bit this session, so maybe that's. But you also, by the way, can add another tag or an improvement to your devotion theme, by the way. All right, so while you work through that, let's go to Ashrin, and then we'll end up on Jared at the end there. Ashrin, what camp things do you want to do?
I think one thing she'll probably make a habit of every time we camp is she will
Read and research?
Either read or research or practice divination. I don't know exactly
Yeah.
which way it would go, but she would, read the stars and try to either get insight for where she should go, what she should do in the future, what something that might happen, that sort of thing.
Yep. Okay. So then those actions you can then use as well as the tags we've set up for your camp and any tags that you have. You can do that to try to create a new story tag for you to use or multiple tags.
Right. Okay, so the tag I would try to create would be something along the lines of
You can also start with your role and let your tags help you inspire the story tag as well. You could try that.
Yeah, sure.
So Jared, be thinking about what you're going to do when we're done with Ashrin here.
I don't think I can open the new tab.
Right click on your token. Did that
right
open
click on it and then open configuration.
Oh, no. Jared got it. So maybe just left click on your token. Does that open it? Your actual token here in the scene.
Okay, I had to switch off the
the select.
Back to the Dales.
Oh, really? Because you guys can't see this scene. Oh, because it's probably. Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
I probably didn't turn off token vision. Gosh, here we are. It's all been a black screen to you, and it's really this beautiful forest. Now you can see it.
Now we see it.
Yeah. Anytime the screen goes all black like that, just give me the high sign.
Okay.
I need to change the vision.
I didn't know if you were purposely trying to
we weren't sure.
If we were waiting, like you had a scene for the mine
big
or whatever,
reveal.
and you were just holding off on it or something. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, sorry about that. Yeah, so if the screen goes black like that, say I just see black screen, and then I'll go, oh, okay, and I'll fix it. When I import scenes, I sometimes forget to do that. I probably forget to do that more often than I remember.
Not a problem. We'll keep you honest.
Thanks. So now you can see your token, and if you right-click on it, it should pop up your...
Yeah, I got it.
And the buttons that go down the side, there is an arrow at the bottom, and I think that even shows others, like their sacrifice, right? But you wouldn't... Whoops, I clicked by accident. My bad.
Okay. I thought I had accidentally...
Nope, I was actually clicking elsewhere, and that's right where it popped up. So, well, that's a 14. So that gives you 7 power. You can create 3 tags from that, right?
Yeah. Okay. that, I guess, uh, let's do. Looking at the suggested things that you can
Mhm.
do on it,
Yep.
it says you can do stuff for allies as well. Is
Yep.
that an option?
Yeah.
Like
Sure.
enhance an
That's
ally?
what bestow is. Yep. Give yourself
Okay.
something new. Sure.
Okay. She will give Chewbacca uh how do I describe this? Um, I guess I don't want to be too flowery on just like the tag. Um, so uh, she's going to uh, look in the patterns of the stars for potential dangers for him, and will warn him uh, of uh, a potential danger in the imminent
Okay.
future.
So you can. It seems like it's pretty easy when it be like alert
Yeah,
or wary, something like that.
yeah. She'll uh, uh,
Okay. So Chewbacca, do you want to add that tag yourself in your story tags area?
Sure.
Okay. That's one. Got two more. Do you want to think
uh,
about it and add them in as
for
we go?
herself. Yeah, I might have to think about the third one, but I know the second one already.
Okay.
The
What
second one,
was what tag was bestowed?
you're going to be bestowed with alerted, or just alert. Astro has
Okay.
basically told you of, some bad thing that might happen in the near future, so you're, on guard for it.
So some
Oh,
sort of portents.
thank you.
Yeah. And then for herself, she's going to create a tag of uh,
A
uh,
spell. A spell?
yes, she's going to,
I'm
I guess,
excited.
create is an option, I guess. Yeah, she's going to create a uh, what would what would I call it?
A daylight spell?
Like a prototype spell. You know, it's not quite to the point where it's like a full-fledged spell, that she's done before or anything like that. But uh, I guess yeah, some sort of what would you call it? Blinding starlight.
Okay, there you go. Spell of blinding starlight. And your third tag could even be complementary of that or something else. Okay, so you have another camp action. You don't need to rest, so a reflect.
Yeah, I think I'll do a reflect on
Okay.
her uh, circumstance.
Okay, cool. All right, Jared, we're going to switch to you while he sorts out the specifics of his tags. Up, up for you. You don't need to rest, so you can reflect or take a camp action.
Yep, I'm going to reflect. Listening to Chewbacca probably reminded me of the time in the war, so I'll just think about, my own atrocities in war.
Mm-hmm.
No one comes out of war clean. Nobody.
So I'm sorry.
And
Say that again for me. You kind of broke up,
oh, I said nobody comes out of war clean.
right?
So, and I mean, I lost a dear friend, and well, like I said, that's enough to chew on. So I guess I would say I would reflect on the past.
Okay. So you've got that. You're going to add improve there. And then for your camp action, do you want to bandage, converse with a fellow hero, cook a hearty meal, craft and repair, entertain others, hunt and forage, prepare for the next part of the journey, read and research, scout ahead or practice divination, or stand watch?
I will talk with another hero.
Okay.
And by that, I mean I will have a conversation with Toma.
Okay.
Because
All
I'm
right.
sure he has a lot of questions for what happened during the day.
Sure. Okay, so then make a roll for your camp action and come up with. We need to do that for you as well, Chupa, because your story should really be a roll with your tags to generate power. And then you spend it.
Could you?
Or you can, like, you count tags that have to do. So it says here that you count your power tags for your chosen action as you would for an action in a scene. The conditions of the camp also can affect your power. You may roll for the action and risk consequences, or take, if you have one power or more, you may spend half your power rounded up without rolling. So if you can find 4 tags, then you can take 2 power and just grant yourself a new tag. So, Jared, you may choose your power, count your power, and decide if you want to roll and risk consequences, or if you want to not roll and just take half the power and spend that.
I have a couple of tags that I'm choosing, and I'm going to do this as this is a tracked outcome, correct?
Yes, if you're going to roll. Yes, for sure.
Okay, so those are the ones I'm tossing.
Okay, so you can either choose to roll and get 4 power if you succeed, but risk consequences, or you can just take 2 power and create a new tag for yourself. What do you want to do?
Going into new scenario with vines, I am probably gonna just take the 2. Be
Okay.
smart on this one bet.
Yeah. All right, sounds good. Then
Where do I get the power from?
your character sheet. You mark or gather power the way you would for any roll that you would make in the middle of a scene. Just this
So
is
for
for
my
yeah.
for my reflection.
No, this is for your. I guess it would be converse or entertain.
Eh?
And
Like-
the 2 tags that I'm creating could be anything.
1 tag. You'll be able to create 1 tag with
tag.
2 power. Mm-hmm.
2
Well, something that relates to your camp actions. So something that comes out of your conversation with Toma. So, as Chewbacca, your choice could be like the 2 that fit are converse with fellow heroes or entertain with storytelling. Your choice, because if you entertain with storytelling, you can do things that improve the mood or bolster your, give you hope or get you, feeling confident. You can take out, when you enter the mine, you're going to be in good to go or whatever. Or just converse would be, support each other, gain insight, etc. So that a tag could be related to that. Could have to do with building your teamwork even more, right? Something like that. However you want. So again, it's very flexible. But choose wisely.
This is for
I really like these mechanics, by the way. It makes resting, taking a quote unquote long rest. All right, hold on.
oh, Peter shouldn't be there.
Okay, let me go down the list here. Before you hit roll, I'll tell you when. You told your story about Elias. Lead by example. Is that your story? You turned against your people?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to not let you count your infiltration just because while that was part of the general part of your story, it didn't really have to do with what I see the rest of this stuff being about your homeland and everything. Sure, you talked about how you were skilled in infiltration, but I'll let you have well traveled.
The pewter thing I bought because it was from a homeland. I could use that.
Yeah. No, I got that. I marked that as usable.
Cool.
My new friends will protect me. This is a story about your old friends, so I'm going to cross that one off. I know.
But I'm relating this story to
people. Yeah. I hear you, but I would say that's an indirect tag. It's related, but it's related indirectly. Okay. I know when people are trustworthy. Yes, I'll let you have that because you discovered who wasn't trustworthy. Need for a home. I'm going to not count that one. And team tactics because this is your solo story. So 1, 2, I'm counting. 3, 4, 5. So you have 5 power. If you roll, you will risk consequences. But with 5 power, you may not hit them. But if you roll really low, you have to roll 9 or less. You'll have a consequence, or you can take half that. So you can have 3 power, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounded up is 6. So half of that is 3. So you can have 3 power without rolling, or 5 power if you roll and succeed.
And how much power do I need to add the
you
tag?
Need two power can buy 1 tag.
Okay. If I have 3, I don't have to roll, right?
Correct. Yes, that's correct. So you don't have to roll, and you can add a tag for sure.
Okay, that's how I will go.
All right, very good. So add a story tag of something you'll be able to carry into the next scene with you that will be of benefit to you. Okay. So good. Did we resolve that? Jared, did we take care of your other thing? You've marked improve. You've taken it. I think that covers everybody.
Yep.
Coolio. All right, guys. Looks good. Let's see. Did anyone? So you can also, Chewbacca, before you go tonight, you are welcome to add a new devotion tag or a theme improvement. If you click on improvement, let me see, I think it will come up. Yeah. So you may need to look at the rules to see what bodyguard and catch me when I fall and deeply committed or whatever all of those improvements mean. But you can click the plus next to improvement and take one of those, or you can just add another tag if you want to add another tag to your devotion theme, in which case you click the lightning bolt right underneath Compassion for All. And that will present you with the 4 questions that you haven't answered yet as part of your theme.
I'm going to try an improvement.
All right, cool. So you're able to look up what those things mean. I don't have it handy, and I'm getting ready to sign off with you guys right now. So, but if you have questions, I can post. Do you have the rules?
I'll look it up. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
good. All right, very cool. So you're able to look those up and see which theme improvement you want most, and then you can get that theme improvement. Okay, cool. And then everyone else, that looks okay. Let's look at Ashwin. Your circumstance has leveled up, so you can either add a new tag to your On a Pilgrimage or add an improvement. But I suggest, with only 3 tags, you should add another one. That's my recommendation.
Yeah, I want another tag for it. So.
And then Marshall, Jared, you're good to go. All right, everybody is all set. Thanks, guys. It was interesting and fun. I think it was some really good role play, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, it was.
Guys.
Yeah.
Awesome game.
Yeah,
All right,
thanks, everyone.
let us say goodbye, farewell, so long to our internet audience. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week as we probably head into the mines with these buggers and see what goes on in there. All right. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
I
Right,
hope
thank
it's
you.
lines with miasma on them.